Yes, we can see you now.
Hi.
So you can't see us, but just to paint a picture, we've got a beautiful boutique 50-seat cinema here, and it's a packed house tonight, so everyone's looking forward to watching the film.
Great, fantastic.
So when was the last time you saw the film?
I think it must have been at the 10-year anniversary. So that must have been 10 years ago, I think, because I think we did it in 2000 and, maybe it was 15 years ago. I think it was
2001.
2001, yeah, so 2011. So yeah, quite a while ago.
So can you tell us a bit about how you got involved in the film?
Yeah, look, it was really the standard sort of thing. I mean, the script was going around and I got sent a copy of the script and I was asked to audition along with everyone else. And I think all of Sydney went for that job. And because the script was so amazing, and when scripts are that good or that solid, everyone goes for them. And I just went along and did the audition, and I met Ray Lawrence, who was directing it there. And we did 3 scenes, I think. And then at the very end of it, he liked to do an improvisation, and he asked me to improvise what was the thing Jane most wanted, and to basically to just talk to camera about what that might be. And I said it was to be loved. And so I did an improvisation about her wanting to be loved. And then about 3 weeks later, I got offered the job.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So it was an emotional journey for Ray to get to this point, considering the ups and downs of his first film, Bliss, which it didn't have a very good run on the festival circuit. So was it an emotional journey making the films behind the scenes?
Actually, the most emotional thing for me was when I went in, because it was the first job I did after Wildside, which is a TV show, and that was 3 years for me after I did Wildside, so I was looking for a great project. And when I went and met Ray, when I got the job and I went and did it, we had a rehearsal period where we sat down together, and he said to me, "You're a good actor. I know you can do this. I'm not going to tell you how to act. It's your role." And just the way he talked to me, I realised when he spoke to me like that, I had given up hope of being spoken to like that. It sounds crazy, but in this business, art, and the nature of creating it, because you're creating someone's viewpoint of something, it can become quite prescriptive. And so for me to have a director that spoke to me about a collaboration, I remember driving home thinking, oh my God, I think I'm going to burst into tears because of him talking like that. So the most emotional thing of making the film was that moment. Actually shooting it was really easy and lovely, because he said to me, he said, "Look, really, I just want to watch you for 3 weeks and film you." He's not someone who directs. And when I said to him, he was watching a take back, because he does these long first takes. He might do 2 takes, and he always buys one of those. Whereas, say Sleeping Beauty, a film I did later, I did 21 takes on one scene. So to only do 1 take is very rare. But I said to him, "What are you looking for when you watch those takes back?" And he said, "I'm looking for when I stop believing it." And so, which I thought, wow, that's really simple. He wasn't looking for how the light hit me or. So it was a really easy process. I adored working with him.
The film's got a terrific cast, including Jeffrey Rush and, of course, Anthony LaPaglia. Can you tell us a bit about working with all of those guys?
Yeah, I never crossed paths with Jeffrey Rush. I met him at the premiere of the Sydney Film Festival. I sat next to him. And so I never met him. Anthony was fantastic. He was in the middle of doing Without a Trace. I think he was very, ensconced in an LA TV show, and he came back to make what was really quite a small Australian film. At $7 million, it's quite a big budget, but for him and the level he was working at was quite small, and he was just really accepting of me. I just found myself quite safe with him, and we had some raunchy scenes together, and I was quite nervous about that. and I was really pleased to discover he was too. So I found someone I could talk to, he was great. There was all those guys, Vince Colosimo, Daniela Farinacci, Kerry Armstrong was amazing. Glen Robbins was brilliant. He just kept me in stitches. He's just a funny guy. And so through a lot of our scenes, well, not all of them, because we had some pretty sad scenes, but he was just a very convivial, easy person to work with. And a lot of the time in films, when they are so emotional, it can be nice to have that space to be like that in between scenes.
Glen was terrific in the film. I think he gives a very underrated performance. Actually, it deserves more credit.
He's fantastic. Yeah.
So you have over 40 acting credits to your name, and this is quite a unique film on your CV. Where does Jane sit on the list of your favourite characters that you've played?
I don't know. Do you know? It's not so much characters that I sort of covet. Really, it's the experiences of the film, making the film, because that's what I remember. So, like when I watch a film, I will watch a scene and I will remember that day. And so I remember the experience of shooting that day. And Lantana is one of the films that I value on my CV because of the ease of the experience in shooting it and the way in which Ray Lawrence can set people free. What you see on that film, I think, is you see actors free to be, rather than being controlled and being pushed into a particular mould. You actually see people relating to each other, because I often think that on films it's that interests us most, when we genuinely see people being moved, being changed by each other. And so, Jane's in one of my probably top 3 or 4 experiences in work, and I've had some pretty cool experiences, but I did love that one. Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, you've gone. I can't hear you.
No, that's okay. What's next for you? Do you want to give anything a quick plug? Anything that you've got coming up?
Breath is coming out soon, which is a Tim Winton adaptation with Simon Baker, and that's just that's going to premiere at Toronto. That'll be out next year sometime. I've just shot a film called The Second, which will be out this year, and I'm about to go into production on a film called Slam, about a disappearance of a young Muslim girl involved in slam poetry. So they're 3 things I'm really passionate about. I've had a lucky year.
Just before we let you go, you were born in Perth, and obviously this screening's taken place in Perth. What are some of your fondest memories of growing up here?
I went to John Curtin Senior High School in Freo, so I love Freo. Freo will always have a very special place in my heart. I guess my family's still there. But I used to work at Freo markets on Thursday nights, Saturdays and Sundays, and I worked at Subi markets for a bit. I used to work in a light fitting place. So you'd buy a lamp and I would, get to look very clever as I wired it up and fitted the lights and everything to it. And I studied at Bentley TAFE. I did fashion design for a while, and then I did fine art. Because I thought I couldn't act. I thought I'd never make a living at acting, so I pretty much spread myself all over Perth trying to work out what else to do in the meantime.
Actually, I spoke to actor Ewan Leslie recently, who also grew up in Fremantle, went to John Curtin. Did you ever cross paths with him?
No, I didn't. I wonder if he must have gone through the theatre arts course there. I went through it under Helen Gadecki.
Well, according to him, he didn't show up to much school at all.
Did he not really? Wow, yes. Well, I did. You see, I was so passionate about theatre arts. In fact, probably theatre arts was the only thing I went to be fair. I used to love English lit, but I failed horrendously at maths. But yeah, no shame. I never crossed paths with you. It's a shame. I think he's a fantastic actor.
Terrific actor. Well, Rachel, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. I hope you enjoy the film.
We will. Thank you very much.